This is my outdoor home aquaponic system. As you can see, it's doing really well. I currently have a power cord running from the top deck, which powers the whole thing, which in total I have an air pump, and then a water pump inside the tank, and then an aquarium heater. Although, the water bill I'm showing in class will be what will be powering it, and it will simply hang up here on this little stand I have made out of wood. So let me explain my aquaponics system a little bit more. This is just a simple 18-gallon storage container with the heater running in through between this flap hole. I've made a flap so I could access the fish really easily. As you can see, sometimes it droops a little bit, but that was because I just fed the fish. So no biggie. In here, the goldfish are doing splendidly well. I bought them as fry to where they didn't have any other color, and now they're really showing. They're looking for a food snack, so usually I only open the flap when it's feeding time. You can see the oxygen bubbles moving from the bottom left corner from that air pump, and then that air, well, sorry, there's one air pump, but I have this T connector here, which goes down, and the air tends to siphon into this air stone a little bit more than that one. But if I plug this one out right here, you can see the oxygen go a lot better, and it siphons out over on that side for I'd say a good couple hours until it dies off, because that one naturally needs more force to go through. One, because this air tube right here is much longer, and two, because it's deeper down there. I think it's a 200-gallon pump that pumps up to the bed, but I'll explain that later. And here you can see a little yogurt container with a couple rocks in there. That just gives them a little bit of decor and make life interesting, and for beneficial bacteria to grow. This thing's outdoors, so as you can see, there's one benefit and one, well, there's lots of benefits and lots of disadvantages, but I'll just name a couple advantages and disadvantages. One advantage is the rain naturally falls through, and I don't have to put water in myself, and it's dechlorinated because it's rainwater, so I don't have to worry about dechlorinating either. And a disadvantage, though, is the temperature out here is too cold to sustain beneficial bacteria, which needs a tropical temperature to survive. So currently it's 80 degrees in there because of my aquarium heater that I put in, which is designed for roughly twice the amount of water. And just as a reminder, as we go up to the bed, where it's a 1:1 ratio, which means the volume of the tank is the same as the volume of the bed up here. So the water pumps up through this water hose, where I have a brick holding it down. You can see a little thing keeping it in there, and the water comes through this media called hydrogen, which works really, really well. It takes a little bit of washing, and it's sort of expensive, but it works great. I have lots of worms in here. I dig these up, this hydrogen through, and show you a couple. But one, I don't know where they are at the moment, and two, I don't want to mess up with the root system, because these Roma tomatoes are doing just fine. So I guess I can start with the Roma tomatoes, because I just mentioned them. You can see this one angling out to the left, well, the right a little bit. That's because the majority of the light comes through that little gap in the trees, because my house backs up to, as you can see, a thick forest. I have a little pitcher plant and a hanging basket that's my mom's and that's my brother's. That just stays around as another plant. These little grass-like blades here, those are spring onions, which I planted as seed, and they're doing amazing too. I got a trellis for the romas because they get about 3 feet, so that's about right there for me. This trellis is 4 feet 9 inches. I measured it, and it's about 5 feet 2 inches up to the very top deck. If I would have gotten immediate tomato, they would have grown all the way around the deck, which, of course, there's a lot of room for them to grow. But I got an intermediate, which means they don't grow as far and they're not as viney. They're more bushy type. Then I have the romaine lettuce, which was not started to seed. These are starts, which is doing amazing. This one spread out especially well, too. Then I got a second and a third. This one's a little bit more interesting because I clipped it recently, and so it's not quite as big, but it's popping back extremely fast, which gives me a good idea of the hardiness of these plants. And then right here I have my only summer lettuce, which is just amazingly huge. I recently cut off the stem because it was trying to bolt and make flowers. a flower, which would terribly make the taste of these leaves terrible. As for the drain, this is a complete ebb system. The difference between an ebb and a flood is the velocity the way it travels through the bed, which is this part right here. And a flood means the water level goes up to a certain height and then drains back down. That's what I hope to accomplish by putting a bell siphon right here sometime over the summer. But right now it's just a simple ebb. The water comes in and flows through unobstructed by any force, trying to stop it from draining. And there's my little gutter guard. As you can see, I dug here because I know there's no roots here from past experience, so it does quite well. The lettuce I know is doing amazingly well because it doesn't have much roots, which means it's able to focus more energy into producing crop instead of having a large root mass, which is really, really helpful. That might be a weed in there growing. Just shows you how well this system is doing. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's right there. Just throw that out. And then water comes back and drains down, and then it simply just pop up a little bit higher and drop down into my water wheel, which would spin, and the frame would be mounted up here through those holes of the connects into with nails into the wood. So it's definitely sturdy enough for that. This stuff here, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, it's just regular sheet plastic. You can find it at Lowe's for about, I don't know, $10 a square foot or so. Well, sorry, God, I don't know. It's like $10 a square yard or something. This is only 4 feet by 4 feet, so that's a little bit over a yard. And this isn't my project, of course. My project is the water wheel. The air pump has had a couple of issues. One, the feet broke off, so I had to put a sock under it. And two, it's extremely vibrant. It vibrates a lot, so it sometimes falls off, and that's not exactly the best scenario for the pump health. And then my water pump, which will pull this back up, it had a filter in it because it's designed for fountains, which would help keep it out for like leaves and dirt. Although I want the solids to be pumped up to feed the worms in here, which are just simple earthworms that you buy as like fishing bait. And so I simply had to do a little bit of reconstructing on that and make sure that the filter was completely out, which consisted of a couple barriers and one sponge filter. Okay, and that's pretty much it. I'll leave you off with an overview of the whole system. Thanks for watching. Bye.